Hi, this is Jason Hodge, and this is video or day number 14 of the video challenge. And today we're talking about paying it forward. Really love this concept, and actually, I've got a little story to tell you. And this is how paying it forward impacted my life. And it was something that may seem a little insignificant to many people, but for me, it was extremely significant. And here's how it goes. I used to work at the shoe store years ago, and it was not too far out of high school. Actually, I think I might have still been in high school. Anyway, so I used to work at the shoe store, right? And I remember that it was a ladies' shoe store, uh, but it was a part of this company that had, I think they owned about six different companies or something like that. So they had discounts on men's shoes also, which was really cool. Anyway, so that's a side story, right? At this shoe store, though, I remember that I used to really make sure that I serviced my customers very well, and went as far above and beyond the call of duty, if you will, as I could. And I remember this, that one day I was helping out this lady and her husband or whatever, and she was looking for a special kind of shoe, whatever, right? Well, anyway, by the time I finished, handling them and all that, bringing back and forth different shoes for her to try on, and she finally found one that she liked and all of that, right? Well, I get up, ring them up and all of that, and I ended up getting a tip. Her husband liked my service so much, I think it was like $100 or something like that, which to me was like, wow. I mean, at that point I was still very young. I still was in my teen years, and I was thinking like, wow, I have never gotten something like this before. Now, not that $100 was a big deal. In essence, the $100 wasn't the big deal. The the act of giving me the $100 or getting the $100 was the big deal. And I'll tell you why. I realized at that point that there is value in giving value to other people. And not that I was giving value in order to get a tip, because I had never heard of anybody getting a tip before for selling shoes. I mean, you get your commission, but a tip on top of that, I expect that in a restaurant if you're a waiter or something like that. But what it showed me is that you never know who it is that you are helping. You never know how what you do for people, how that impacts them, how they appreciate that, and how it can make or break their day. And so I thought, I probably at that point, it didn't hit me the way that it hits me now, all these years later, or should I say decades. But I realized something now in my older years that I probably was too young to realize then, even though it impacted me. And that is this, is that people, you never know if they're just at their breaking point, and just a simple act of kindness can turn their whole life around. You never know. You could be the very barrier between a person going on to live and them taking their life. You really can. And it could be from a very simple act. And when I think about just how definite those things can be, how permanent those things can be, it always reminds me that even if I get a jerk of a person, instead of immediately operating in the emotion of something, and granted, I may be off on a tangent here, but kind of go with me, right? But instead of going off on your emotions based on their emotions, responding to them with kindness can be the very thing that keeps them on this side of life. You never know why a person gets really nasty with you. You really don't. And a lot of times it has absolutely nothing to do with you, unless you're just a jerk to them, and then it probably has everything to do with you. But for the most part, people tend to react to other people based on what's going on inside of them. So can you imagine somebody blowing up at you, you taking it the wrong way or not thinking that there could be so many other things that, came, with that package that you have nothing to do with, and then you blow up back at them, and then that's the very last thing that kicks them over the edge, and then they go ahead and take their life. I know about things like that that have happened. I know people who have taken their life. And those are the things that thought process has oftentimes saved me from getting emotion or responding in a negative emotion with somebody's negative emotion, because I never know what's on the other side of that. What my words can do, how it can impact them negatively if I choose to go negative. So, paying it forward to me is where you go above and beyond what the norm is in order to make sure that a person is serviced, well cared for, or whatever that is in that scenario, because you never know, it could turn a life around. Well, this is Jason Hodge, keeping it real. I'll talk to you later.